What up, guys? Today we're going to be reviewing episode 2 of Dragon Ball Daima, and we're going to be going through all of the events that happened in this episode and talk about some of the stuff that we got explained a little bit more in this episode as a whole. Now, first, I want to give a big shout out to a couple new subscribers of mine, one by the name of Star Trek, and the second one by the name of Esuo Verderdo Visionero. So sorry for the last one for mispronouncing that. I'm not, Latin, and I don't really speak Spanish, so it's hard for me to pronunciate words like that. So let's get into this episode. Now, this episode as a whole was pretty fun and enjoyable. I really liked it, but I felt like there wasn't really much in this episode. It was pretty much just setting up for the next episode and the series as a whole. So we started off with, everybody turning into children, wondering what's happening. They're trying to find out what's happening. They do talk about how they sense something was happening in the lookout, so they're going to go check that out. But Goku and the rest of them are kind of struggling to use their powers. Goku's trying to fly and he's floating around everywhere because his body's too small and he just hasn't had the hang of using it. So they get Kobito because apparently Kobito, he can still use his powers pretty well. He doesn't have any problems. So he uses his teleportation technique, which is called Kai Kai, and they go all the way to the, lookout. So they meet a Popo as a child, which he has horns, which I thought that was pretty cool. So they see him, they ask him, hey, what happened? Where's Dende? And they said that apparently there's these guys that came from this demon realm, and one of them kind of looked like Shin, but Shin was like, oh shit, I know who that is. That's my brother. And then Popo goes on to say, he's like, yeah, they kidnapped him. They made the wish to turn you guys into children, and then they pretty much left. And then he gives them a little bit of rundown on what's happening and a bit of more of explanation to the rest of the crew. So now they're like, okay, we got to better understand what's happening. Also, it's kind of funny because when King Gomo, which was the villain, which I got that wrong in the first video, I said his name was Degasu. That was the name of the Supreme Kai that was Shin's brother. So his name is Degasu, and the main little evil guy that's the king is King Goma. So Goma, he basically, he made the wish, and then Shenron was like, well, bye. And he's like, wait, what do you mean bye? I thought you give us 3 wishes. And he's like, yeah, that's for the regulars, but for random people, strangers, I only give them 1 wish, which was kind of funny, but also kind of bullshit. It's like, come on, man. He literally gathered the Dragon Balls and you only gave him 1 wish, but he turned them to children. And then they went back to the demon realm, took Dende. They were going to kill him, but then they're like, you know what? Maybe let's just kidnap him because we can use him as a hostage. So they take him, and then Goku and the rest of the crew are like, we have to get, him back, but they don't know how to get to the demon realm. Apparently, they just can't teleport there, which is kind of funny because Goku could teleport to the afterlife. He can teleport to heaven. He can even, teleport to hell, and he can even go to the Supreme Kai's world, which not even the Grand Kai stepped foot on. But apparently they can't go to the demon realm, which I thought that was kind of weird. But he explains that the way he was able to come from the demon realm or move, which Shin explained, was by using the ship that he used a long, long time ago to go to the Supreme Kai's world, or I think just to Earth or whatever, which is kind of weird because I thought the Supreme Kais I thought they came from the Supreme Kai realm. I thought that's where they resided, but apparently they come from the demon realm. Maybe they might train to become an attendant or an apprentice, and then eventually become Supreme Kai on Supreme Kai planet. But apparently they're from the demon realm, so I want to learn more about that and what's happening with there, because from what we were explained before by, Toriyama, was that there's the Kaioshins and the Makaioshins. So the Kaioshins come from the Supreme Kai planet, which they're the gods of creation and they create things. And then the Makaioshins are the evil versions that live in the demon realm, because the demon realm is basically parallel to our universe, or the living universe, Universe 7, depending on which one they're in, actually. But they're basically the opposite. So they have like regular people there, and then this one they have the demons. So that's how they explain it. But now we're getting explained that even the Supreme Kais come from there, which is a little confusing and a little bit weird. So I'm just like, wait, what? So it's a little weird with that. And I want to get a little bit better of an explanation on that. But we do get a bit of more of an explanation on the whole pointy years thing, and then the Namekians being from the demon realm. Apparently, Piccolo reveals that he knew that, they came from the demon realm, that apparently on Namek that they mentioned it. I know they mentioned something like this in the manga. I think it was either in the Granola arc or the Moro arc, where they stated they're from another dimension and another universe altogether. They never stated it was the demon realm, but now in this series that they mentioned it was the demon realm, it does make sense and it makes that connection there. And we know that they all originally came from there and then left, which they also explain why they left specifically. Piccolo does know. But it is kind of shocking that Piccolo knew this, because Piccolo never said anything about it. And it's kind of weird to me that, Piccolo would know something like this, but it wouldn't be such a big shocking revelation. And he wouldn't even tell him until they find out later. And then he's like, yeah, I know this. He was so casual about it. I just felt like that was weird. I'm like, I was just confused. I was lost. I was like, really? But apparently they do come from there. And then Vegeta asked Popo, so he's like, so everybody with pointy ears comes from the demon realm? And they're like, no, that isn't actually the case. Which is good because a lot of people have been making misconceptions and like false information saying that everybody in the Dragon Ball universe that has pointy ears is apparently from the demon realm. But Popo and Shin pretty much said that no, actually, most people with pointy ears are from the demon realm, but not everybody. So not every character that has pointy ears is from the demon realm. It's just that most or heavy amount are from the demon realm if they have pointy ears. Also, Vegeta was talking to Piccolo. He's like, well, was the dimension bad? Why did you guys leave? He's like, no, actually, it was a really nice, peaceful place. We really enjoyed it. And he's like, then why would you guys leave? He said, apparently because since they have a king and a ruler there, they don't really like that because they don't really like being ruled over, which makes sense because even with Guru being like, the big thing, he was not really a king. He was just their father that created them. And he was just like an elder. He was like a wise guy that they come to ask for help and stuff and guidance. He didn't really like rule over, his people, even though he birthed them all. So that was pretty interesting to find out too. And at this point, Goku's trying to learn how to use his body. He keeps on training, and he's not doing really much. He's just training because there's nothing really he can do. And besides that, the rest of the characters are just talking about what's happening. Goku's training. Bulma's actually doing quite a bit of work because Shin, when he brought his ship over, it was pretty heavily damaged, and he got her to work on it to find a way to get to, across the dimensions because apparently they can't do it through teleportation alone. But he did have his ship, and like I said, it was badly damaged. So she said it's going to take 10 days to fix. But at this point, there was a beaming of light that came and hit down, and apparently it was a ship, and it had the other new character, Gloria, whatever his name is. He came, he said, hey, I know what's happening. I found out about what the king's plan was, and then I'm sent here to do something about it. I'm here to help you guys out. They're kind of untrustworthy of him because he's from the demon realm, but they don't know enough about him, which is understandable, obviously. But as he comes there, he tells them, hey, look, I'm here to help you guys out, but I can't take all of you. So I'm going to take, he pretty much takes two of them. He takes Goku because he saw that they had a big focus on Goku. And then he also takes Shin because Shin states that since he is technically from the demon realm and knows mostly about it compared to anybody else, that he has the best knowledge and understanding of it. So Goku goes there because he's the most powerful, and he goes there because he's the most knowledgeable. And Vegeta tries to come in too, but he's like, no. The ship is not big enough to carry you also on it. He's like, but I'm a child. And he's like, nope, I'm sorry, it's too small for you. So Vegeta has to stay over so the rest of the crew are going to be coming in later, but they're going to have to wait for Bulma to finish repairing the new ship so they can all go. But for right now, it's only Goku and Shin going there with Gloria. Though luckily by Bulma checking and inspecting his ship, she was able to find out how it works and operates. So she was able to have a better understanding on how to operate on the other ship so she can get the rest of the crew to go to, the demon realm. So she was basically working on that. So it's going to be less than 10 days, but we're not going to be seeing Vegeta and Piccolo there. We're going to see the rest of them later, but for right now, for the next episode at least, we're going to be seeing both Goku and Supreme Kai there. Now, I do think and I do assume that we might see the rest of the crew within like an episode or two or after, like maybe episode 4 or 5. We might see them there, but we will definitely have to wait compared to like somebody like Goku and Shin, because they're going to be already there. So the next episode is basically setting that up. Now, this episode, there wasn't that much stuff happening. That was pretty much it. It was pretty simple and straightforward. Besides that, there was like, Goku trying to get his power pole back, and he had to go to Master Roshi. He first went to Korra, then went to Master Roshi. Then he got it, so he's going down there with that. But besides that, there was nothing really impressive or crazy happening in this episode. It was just Goku getting better handle of his power. It was them getting explaining again what we learned in the first episode and getting a little bit more knowledge. I am a little confused on the Supreme Kai stuff, so I want to get better understanding on that. I know about Piccolo stuff, and especially the whole, Namekians, the Namekian stuff happened there. And then the pointy ear stuff, they explained that, which is good because, like I said, a lot of people were saying that everybody with pointy ears is now from the demon realm, which was completely incorrect. So they shut that down, which was really great. Also, another thing I do want to talk about that kind of annoys me that I've been seeing recently a lot, people have been saying is, Dragon Ball Daima has a plot hole here and here and here, and they were saying that there's an inconsistency, and they were talking about how the fact that in Dragon Ball Super and in the Broly film and this and that this is how the events happen and this and that. And I'm just like, dude, stop. I don't know why you guys don't understand. Maybe you guys didn't do your research before this series came out, but for the rest of us that did, they mentioned it well before that this is not going to be a part of the actual story or the canon story event. So it's not going to have anything to do or pertain with the Battle of Gods a story or Resurrection of F or Dragon Ball Super or anything after Dragon Ball Super or even in the manga. So whatever events happen in that, it does not matter how they set up the lore. It does not connect with this show. There are obviously some, cosmological explanations and, information that we get in this series that is going to pertain to the actual, lore. But that does not mean that this show is part of it. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Toriyama wrote this one. But just because Toriyama wrote it does not mean he wanted to make it canon. It's only canon if he says it's official or wanted to be official. And it seems like this is just some fun story that's on its own. So if you want to talk about plot holes and inconsistencies, that's fine. But you have to talk about that in comparison to the two series that it came right off of, which was Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Because those are the only two stories that it connects to and pertains to. Anything else after Dragon Ball Z has nothing to do with Daima. So I don't want to hear anything about, well, in Super this happened, well, in Resurrection of F this happened, well, in Battle of Gods this happened. I don't want to hear that because that has nothing to do with the series. The series is really not canon. So it doesn't matter what happens unless it contradicts what was shown in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. So I don't want to hear you guys in the comment section saying some dumb shit in any of these videos. Especially in the future ones, saying, well, this doesn't make sense because of this and that. Unless if you're talking about, like I said, Dragon Ball Z, then you have an argument there. But besides that, no, this is not what's they called. It's not a part of the canon in the story event, so it doesn't affect anything that happens in Dragon Ball Super. And we already know this because in the first episode, we had a different timeline when Kibito and Shin split up, and we had a different explanation. In the anime, they used or in the Dragon Ball Super anime, they stated that they used a wish to do it, and it was in the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament, which is well after. Whereas in this one, this is within a year after the Buu Saga, they already split up. And on top of that, when they split up by going into Buu's body, and they stated that he has some type of gas in his body that breaks down the fusion and then spat them out. So the way they got out of the fusion and the timeline when they did was significantly different than Super. So it's not a contradiction. It just showcases its own different separate continuity. So don't look at it don't look at the series as it's supposed to connect to those. It has nothing to do with that. They might have characters from like Dragon Ball Super, like Buu, not Buu, Beerus or Whis, but that isn't confirmed for this series yet. The series is only going off of Dragon Ball Z. So I do not want to hear it. Like I said, they already showed right there was a difference. So no, it's not an inconsistency or plot hole or whatever. Any of these stupid YouTubers that are putting that shit out there, just stop. You guys sound dumb. That is incorrect. You guys weren't doing your doing your research before the show came out. They literally stated this stuff before the show even came out. You guys just waited for the show to come out, and now you're bitching about it. They did the same with the Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball Heroes, whatever it's called. But they did the same with Dragon Ball Heroes, like saying, this doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense, this fusion, this story events don't make sense. Like, those are big what-if story events that are from the game. It has nothing to do with any logic or any Dragon Ball lore. It doesn't matter if it's inconsistent. It's just for entertainment. This is the same thing. The only difference is this one has more of a hands-on approach with Toriyama. But besides that, that does not make it part of the official canon of what we've seen now. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out there because I know there's going to be a lot of people saying that, and I just want to shut that shit down right now. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.